All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is what is this? Tuesday. What is this? May 6th? May 7th? May 6th. Yeah, Tuesday, May 6th, 2:18 p.m. I'm at my mom's house right now, and I came to try to uh you know recycle her plastic bottles for like I've told you all before, she doesn't really stay in this apartment for too long because they won't allow her to. Because when she stays here, they basically are, I don't know if they are joint together with various people and they're transmitting signals to her body, but yeah, she struggles with actually just being in the apartment because she always feel like the pulses of attacks, the pulsed energy against her body. But what I did was I did take some time to go around and put some Kapton tape.
Hello.
Oh,
Please leave a message after the tone.
so
I'm reaching out one more time regarding your pending approval. I
uh,
left you a voicemail a few days ago, and we finally have an approval for you. To
ooh,
review your offer and select your terms, press 2 now,
oh,
or
never
call
mind.
833
Anyway, so Kapton tape.
To decline this
This is
offer,
a small
stop
one.
the call, and call back or
Spelled
press 9. We're here to help.
Kapton. This is made with a special type of material that actually is extremely heat resistant, and it also helps contain electromagnetic radiation as it's either emitting from something, or even if it's being reflected as electromagnetic waves. It can help reduce the amount of power that can be reflected off of certain surfaces. So if you notice, anything metal, anything metal, anything metal, even all right, I did some over here. So even up there, wait, where is it? Yeah, so you see the tape there, tape on the frame of the window. Anything metal, anything metal. Even the walls are metal, so I put some tape there. Basically, anything that is conductive of electricity, anything that can retain static energy or static charge, I take this tape and I place it on it. Not only that, your power cords. Put some around your power cords too, and that'll also help reduce the amount of electromagnetic radiation that's coming out of the cord itself. And then it's also something that you have to keep in mind is that even though you can't really see it with the naked eye, though the air looks clear, it's not clear. There are probably an insurmountable number of sensors that's just sitting in the air. Some of it may actually fall down to the ground if it's not being magnetically steered or directed to go in certain places. And I always wonder, see, that's on the outside though, right? But then I think about it, she also never really opens these windows, and these windows never ever get cleaned. But I don't know if you can see like the film and dirt and stuff that's on the outside there, but let me see something. Damn, can't even. I'm trying to pull it down, but I can't even pull it down. I want to get a wipe. Can't, like, all this stuff that you don't see. These sensors, they're conductive. They can store energy, and then as they're sending signals from one source to the receiver, it doesn't, those signals don't lose power because of all the sensors that are like constantly, that are floating in the air, that are dispersed in the air. So when they send a signal, it doesn't lose power because it's basically, is being helped along the way to get to its receiver. What else? Kapton tape. Get you some. It's not that expensive. You can go on eBay and find Kapton tape in various sizes. What else? Also, where did she put hers? Cause that was something else that I figured we probably. My sister bought her a mold test kit, like an at-home mold test kit. And dang, I do not see it. Because I thought this was interesting too. If you could actually do one, it was basically like the type of mold test kit that you could either just open it, you could just open one and leave it out in the open for like, I think they said like 48 hours or something. And then what was it? No, I think it said you open it, and then in the dish it has like some material or something on the inside. You open it for like 30 minutes or so, and then you close it, and then put it away for like 48 hours, I guess, to give whatever mold or whatever that falls into the dish time to grow. And then once you see how much it grows within 2 days, then you'll know that you need to do some deep cleaning. But I do not see where she put it though. Dang, I wanted to actually record that. But anyway, so here's something else. Let me see. Okay, now I'm in the bathroom. Now, one thing that I would learn. Okay, now you can't really. Okay, now as I zoom in, you see all this? I believe a lot of this that's in there, like if it were to be tested, you would probably find so many nanobots, and not just mold, but like there's like all these other things. Like, I mean, look at it. Like, what do you think? And that's coming out of the air vent. Now, I've lived in this building since 2003, right? And then it used to never be any air that would come through this thing until about maybe I want to say like 6-7 years ago, when they did this so-called, and the construction apparently was to to reinforce the integrity of the building or whatever. I don't know. It just seemed like they just took old bricks out and put new bricks in, right? But not only was it just that they did, it seemed like they cleared out whatever materials that was in between the floors. They cleared out whatever that stuff was. And then now, like, you could literally hear everything someone's saying. And you could also basically hear almost every footstep that's made, right? Now, like I told you, prior to 2020, I was not aware of targeting. I was not aware of targeting or targeted individuals or gang stalking. I didn't know nothing about any of that, really. I just kind of figured if somebody was being stalked, they probably was like a whistleblower, or, they probably, I don't know, was doing some revolutionary stuff, and the feds don't necessarily want certain people to get too strong, so they stalk and harass you and your family, stuff like that. But prior to me getting my first apartment in 2019, and I moved up to the Bronx, I I wasn't going through anything that really, at least when I look back on it, I didn't think I was. At least it wasn't as overt as what I'm dealing with now. Trying to maintain my train of thought, because now I could feel the pressure building up in here. Cut. So, yeah, that's something I found out from this. It's an image. It was called the hold on. Okay, so it was this image I found online called the six energy six. I think it was called the six common energy problems or something like that, and it's a picture. I'm gonna put like a I think I might have uploaded it already, but if not, I'm gonna put like put it as like a little screenshot, not a screenshot. I'm gonna put it in this video. It basically shows like the human body, and then you see the aura, but then it shows you 6 different ways that things, whether it's a chemical based, or if it's like a energy cord or anything like that, or if there are discrepancies in your aura, it shows you these 6 different ways that something or someone can interrupt your vitality, your energy, your aura, your energy field. And one of the way, in one of the examples, it mentioned something about cords. Matter of fact, I should try to print it out, because that way, yeah, I'll probably print it out later. But anyway, it shows cords, right? And cords can come from people and objects. Now, what makes it even more interesting that I saw this image about, the cords, because that's exactly what this technology feels like when they force a resonance between you and an object, or you and a person, because it literally feels like, so right now there is a resonance. Yeah, there is something resonating with my heart here, but it's also kind of like penetrating and going out through the back too, or maybe I'm getting hit on both sides, right? So I feel it here, but then I also feel something like just underneath my shoulder blade. And as I treat it, as I pull it, as I like I said, you it says to, when you feel where they're attacking you at, right, you pull your hand back and you can literally follow it. You would feel the thermal presence of the energy on the back of your hand. So obviously there's some cords coming from the phone, so that means they are using the energy from my phone to force a resonance with my heart, and then transfer energy from the phone to my heart. But I know that there are other devices or people with devices in them that are nearby. So, and that's something else too I learned, is that like I said in many videos before, if you live like near other people's homes, or you live in an apartment building, they may not be aware of it, but whatever devices that they may have in their home, not nanotech devices, but I'm talking like an air conditioner or refrigerator or anything electronic that's giving off an electromagnetic field, they will make sure that that object is also resonating with your body too. But it's going to be kind of like a cord. Remember, we're talking like radio frequencies that are carrying energy, right? So as I pull away, I'm tracking it, right? Now, somewhere like right here. Yeah, like right where my where my fingertips are. There is a junction right here. There's a junction here, and it feels like multiple signals are meeting up right here, and then they kind of branch out to different parts of the body. So you got this up here. Now, if I follow one frequency, it comes down, and then I can feel it come from like not like a testicle, but it's like it's positioned. It's like the node is positioned somewhere in the groin area. I haven't figured out the exact spot, but when I place my hand, like it's kind of like it's not necessarily on. It's not necessarily in a testicle or on the scrotum, and it's not necessarily like in the butt or anything. Like it's in that space that's in between, right? And then as I use like my fingertips to feel around the area, I can feel like these small little like inflamed textures, right? But it's probably like no bigger than this. But it doesn't look like anything. You try to look at it, and you don't necessarily see anything, right? You just feel this inflamed texture, and then you feel this pulse. Like you just feel this inflamed texture, and that's literally anywhere on your body where you feel them pulsing energy into your body. If you touch the area if you place your fingertips on the area where they're attacking you, first thing you're gonna notice is the difference in heat. The difference in heat between the surrounding area and then the area where they're attacking. That's one thing you're going to notice. The second thing you're going to notice is this pulsing sensation. Like, see, right now they're going easy. Right now they're going easy. But right here, there is like this. It's like this. Like this hard lump, right? And it's not on this side. There's nothing on this side, right? There's nothing on this side, but on this side there's this hard lump, and then there's a pulse, and it's like bum 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 bum, and it's not in the same rhythm as my heart. Plus, I already know that nobody has a pulse on their jawline, so that's one thing I've learned too, is that they're, even if you don't feel pain in areas where they normally attack you, there is a resonance that's always going to be there, because it's like saved. It's like they come back to it when they're ready. They'll probably give that area some time to chill, or to cool down or something, and then they'll focus on attacking somewhere else. What I also have done before was, this is just an example. So I told you all before that I tried this thing where I took the Kapton tape and, let's say, right, so like right here, I think this is where I feel the pulse is more prominent. So what I do, this is just an example, because I don't walk around with this tape on my face like that. No, that just looks too weird. But if I'm at home, I'll probably do this. Now, if you're hearing that flutter sound in my voice, in my breath, like that's because carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide, I said carbon monoxide. Carbon dioxide is not the only thing coming out of my body, because there is something else that's seeping out too. And that's in. But yeah, so it's like as they're heating the different parts of your body, they're breaking up molecules, they're breaking up atoms and everything inside your body, and that's probably releasing gases. And well, yeah, it's probably releasing gases. And then now it's like when you focus on when I focus on my breath and I blow out like that fluttering sound, because when you normally when a person just blow, it should just go right? And that's me actually trying to just do it normally. But then if I just regular, you hear that? So it's like there's air coming up there's like the carbon that's coming from up here, but then it feels like something else is coming from an angle that's down, and it's pushing the carbon to the side, and it's doing that flutter thing as it comes out. Plus, I also realized too that if you don't breathe through your mouth, you can still feel the forward thrust or push of something coming out of your mouth, even if you're not breathing out of your mouth. So that just lets me know that there are other things happening to my body that are being caused from something external. Interesting that I put my hand in this direction. Okay, yeah. So it's like, I mean, from that angle, you're not going to see it, but my hand is kind of like pointed right at that light up there. Even though the light isn't on, it still has electricity flowing to it. So, they can basically, it's still producing an electromagnetic field, and they can force that to resonate with your body, or at least the devices in your body. And, they can direct energy into your body that way. What else? There was something else, because I didn't want to make a long video. Got my girl here with me. She's she's so cute. She helped me recycle my mom's bottles. Oh right. And okay, so yeah, this thing happened, and it's like, to tell you the truth, I don't even know if that's what was truly said, but the timing was just too coincidental. So we were, after we had left to go recycle the bottles, right? We go walk down the little shopping mall to go to the discount store, and it's some like people standing outside, and it's like, as I'm walking through, I realize I recognize one face, right? And I almost started to say what up to him. Like, I felt myself wanting to say what up to him, but then I got this feeling like it was almost as if like he was trying to avoid saying anything to me. Because most of the time, because like I told you, I grew up out here since I was like, 13, 14 years old, since 2003. So I'm like, most of the people out here, if they know me since back then, they know me, right? And most of the time, like this, the person I seen, normally if they see me, they probably say what up. But this time it was kind of almost like he just kind of kept his eyes looking one way and just didn't even want to like see me. And I'm like, his eyes was wide open, and I know he saw me, and I started to say something, but then I don't know. It just almost felt like he was just trying to avoid saying something to me. So I was just like, okay. Um, then again, I'm also thinking maybe it's because I had cut my hair off, so he probably didn't recognize me anymore. But I mean, the face with the glasses is still the same. Um, yeah, I actually feel kind of better since I put this on. Yeah, and that's one thing I also learned too. Is that oh yeah, and then as you can see, I have some on my glasses frame, because of the metal that's there. Um, There's metal on these parts, but I don't know how likely I am to want to put tape on these parts. But I probably should greatly consider it because since these nanobots basically are landing on anything and everything, whatever signals that are coming to my body, they can bounce those signals off of the metal of these, and then it goes right into my head. So those of you who have glasses and you have metal screws or anything metal on the glasses, you might want to consider getting some Kapton tape so you can put that on there, and it could possibly reduce the amount of radio frequencies that they're, or the energy carried by radio frequencies that they could bounce off or reflect off the metal and then right at you. I also learned that if I took this Kapton tape and I wrapped it around my head, like full wrap around, no break in between, I will notice it. You greatly notice that you're actually being bombarded with energy because, remember, I told you this tape is made specifically for reducing electromagnetic interference, meaning it's specifically made to prevent two electromagnetic fields from interacting with each other. So when I put this tape around my head, right, the noticeable thing, the first thing I notice is one, this, it's like, it's almost as if like my head just got divided into two, but not in like a bad sense. Like it's like I can feel the difference between my energy and then an energy that's kind of like hovering, like it kind of like hovers around the head, right? And then it's like as it's hovering around my head, I then start to try to practice doing some some energy work, exercises, breathing things, or even do some mudras, or what we got this one. You do I forgot the name of this mudra, but when you do this one actually helps promote I believe it's blood flow to your brain. Yeah, and matter of fact, as I'm doing it, it's like I could feel energy shooting in between, like it's shooting from inside the palm to in between my middle and pinky, my middle finger and pinky, and it's coming outward. And then also the pressure that I feel building up on the side of my head, that has actually been started to reduce as I've been doing this. So it's like this. And I suggest people really start looking into mudras and stuff like that. Like, because honestly, yeah, we may not, I don't know when we'll ever be able to gain access to our own W bands, or maybe someone could possibly shut down the entire infrastructure for this whole thing. But until then, we got to use whatever natural and historically known ways that we can to manage our energy and manage our energy fields. mudras, meditations, salt baths with sea salt and baking soda. I also add borax too, because borax also has been tested to have negative reactions to the nanotech. And what else? Keep losing my train of thought. I don't know if you can hear the sound, but so that popping sound, I kind of think of it as like, okay, so I feel like they kind of drained some fluid out of certain parts of the brain or whatever, and that little flapping sound that you hear, that popping sound, I think that's the tissues or the layers of the tissues being have been dried out so much that as the energy wave, the radio frequencies are passing through, as they're passing through the body, I think it might be. I'm not sure, but it might be like lifting up like the flaps of tissues that are like kind of stuck together because the heat from the energy has been drying out the body so bad that like as it's passing through, kind of. Yeah, like as it's passing through, it's kind of like lifting up like flaps of tissue that has been dried out or something. Like it's not terribly dry. It's just like you could tell it that shouldn't be happening. That sound, but dang, what else? Oh, and I see she hasn't been trying it, but this is something else I constructed. So this is basically a wand of neodymium magnets that I taped together. And what I did was I learned that whenever I feel like in my lower back, when they're like concentrating energy on my lower back, I would take this, and these are all repelling each other. They're not like because you can see how they're uneven. So they're all repelling each other. You can see it's pushing out. So when I put this around so what I do is I would basically put it like here, and then I would tie it. I would tie it around my waist like this. I mean, of course, I would put my shirt over it. Like I used to work with this on, but then I gave it to my mom, hoping she would probably try it. But I don't know if she tried it yet. When it comes to her, I have to kind of be a little bit more hands on. Oh, see, and it kind of works almost instantly. So they had that. Remember, I told you I had that those two spots where they were attacking me from like here and then by the shoulder blade. Well, the shoulder blade one is starting to decrease a bit ever since I put this belt on. Now the idea behind that is because thanks to Tony Pentalaresco, he said you take two magnets and you put them together with the where they're repelling each other, and you squeeze them together. What that does, it creates basically a repelling magnetic field. It creates a repelling magnetic field. So he shows you in his videos. You can go to Herbs Plus Beads Work. HERBPLUSBEADSWORK on YouTube. He doesn't really post any new videos on that channel anymore, but they're all still good, still relevant and good information. But anyway, he says when you make a wand like this and all of the magnets are repelling each other, it creates this huge, like, repelling magnetic field. As I put it above my head, it just relieved the pressure that I was feeling at the top of my head. Put it to the side of the head, I feel the pressure being relieved. As I hold it towards the side of the head, I could feel it relieving pressure that's in my memory cortex, and that's like one of their sweet spots, because obviously, if you can't remember things, then yeah, you kind of have a hard time living. So that, and then I also thought about doing something like this, where I thought about putting it on my forehead like this. I mean, if not the forehead, then like somewhere on the head. All right, maybe I try to make it so that the magnet actually touches against the skin, but it keeps flipping. Oh, right. So I didn't even finish the story. So it was like I seen the guy, right? And I started to say what up to him, but then it almost seemed like he didn't want to say anything to me, because I was like, it's broad daylight, and I wasn't that far from him. But it almost seemed like he didn't want to say anything to me. So I kind of left it alone, right? So then as I started to walk past these other three people, one person coughed, and then the other one goes, "That's the snitch." Oh, no, he said, "Yeah, he's a snitch." And for the life of me, it was so, I had to control myself, because I can't understand. I can't even comprehend. How does someone accept the fact that entities, I don't even know if I call them people, and I'm talking about the ones that's higher up on the pyramid of this technological hierarchy. How does one just basically end up, like, how do you accept the fact that someone put technology in your body without your consent, and then they have the ability to literally control the very functions and thought processes that make you you? How do you accept the fact that someone put something inside your body and you had no consent or knowledge that it was put in your body, and then you go and start to protect the people who put it in you, right? And then I'm thinking to myself, like, it gotta be more than just money. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, if it's not money, then what else is it? Because obviously it's like, if they're all connected to the same information, right? And if it's not about money, if they're all connected to the same information, are you telling me everyone is basically playing actors? Because if you're connected to all this information, all this knowledge, money shouldn't even be a problem. I mean, your whole life probably should be completely different, because you have so much access to all this information and all this knowledge and all these different people. So it's like in my mind, I'm like, okay, why are you protecting them? Because I guess, you know what? I had to tell myself this too. They were probably told, look, if you don't say nothing, we can help you with your life, right? So I'm like, okay, that part, I'm like, okay, all right. Somebody literally just put some devices inside your body. You don't know who these people are. You don't know who they are. You don't even know if they have other agendas. You don't even know what their first agenda really is, or whatever. But they just tell you, don't tell anyone, and we can help you with your life, right? But what the part that I don't get is, how is it that, like, okay, I'm just thinking to myself, like, someone put something in your body to cause you to hear the voices of other people or things, right? And you find out that it's actually people or entities controlling these devices, right? And then I remember, like I always tell I tell this story every so often, but I remember when I that one night I told myself I was going to go to the hospital, because I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I know this is not normal, because of the 30 some odd years I've been alive, I was never hearing anything to this capacity. I was never hearing other people's voices being projected into my mind. And I'm glad I used those terms, because that's exactly what it is. It's radio frequencies carrying audio signals of other people who are basically using a synthetic basically synthetic telepathy, speaking into my mind. And I remember when I told myself that, because they kept like harassing me and whatnot. Basically, no, it was more like they were trying to like scare me, right? Like, I mean, that's basically what it was. They were like scaring me and whatnot. They was like, oh, we're gonna shoot you in your sleep. Oh, people gonna do this to your mother. All these different things, right? So then I told myself, no, I'm not going to just sit here and take this. I'm going to go somewhere where I can get some help. And I remember I was walking to Brookdale Hospital, and I remember the whole time I'm walking it, and I don't never walk there, but for whatever reason, I was like, nah, I'm gonna go get this checked out. And I remember the V2K, they was like, Chris, you don't have to do this. Chris, if you tell them about us, you're gonna become a snitch. Da da da. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, snitch on what? I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck is happening. I just know I'm not supposed to be hearing other people in my head. I just know that as a fact. Because for 30 something years I wasn't, and then all of a sudden, now I am. I'm like, no, I'm not accepting this. That sounds like I'm accepting myself into becoming something that I do not have any intentions of becoming. And you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of like some type of way to kind of like trick people into, developing Stockholm syndrome. The part where, the guy kidnapped, I guess in the best way I can explain it, this guy kidnaps a woman, and then basically he gets her to fall in love with him or whatever, and then they go out and start doing stuff. I forgot exactly what they did, but it's like, it's like, no, I'm not doing that. I was like, for some reason, I was like, it doesn't make sense to me for me to follow the instructions of someone who first used technology on me that I wasn't even aware was inside my body. And then they threatened to basically shoot me in my sleep, which they basically have been doing for probably much longer than I ever really realized. I didn't realize they weren't talking about bullets. I didn't realize at the time they weren't talking about bullets. They were talking about pulses of energy. They were talking about pulses of energy. I didn't realize they weren't talking about bullets. So that's why I was kind of scared for my life. because I thought someone was really trying to come at me. And I'm like, but who? Because I never done anything to anyone that's in the Bronx. And then I'm thinking to myself,
Hello. Please leave a message after the
it doesn't
tone.
make sense, right? Oh, but then you know what? Now it kind of sticks. It kind of gets back to the whole incident that happened in March, right? March of 2020. I'm gonna tell this story again. March of 2020. I had a friend that was visiting from out of town, and we were about to leave to go somewhere, and then all of a sudden we heard this commotion in the hallway. Um, this young woman, she runs out into the hallway screaming, "Someone call the police, he hit me." My initial reaction wasn't to really get involved at all. That was my initial reaction. And I mean, look, granted, y'all could say whatever y'all want to say, call me, a bitch or whatever for not wanting to help a woman or whatever. But my initial reaction wasn't to get involved, because most of the time there's so much stuff going on in New York City. You just sometimes you just mind your business. And then sometimes it could just be somebody seeking attention or something like that. So I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't going to get involved in the first place. So then next thing you know, the woman, she yells out again. And then my friend, she's like, "Oh, Chris, I think you need to go and check on that," because she was like, men from where I'm from, they don't play that men hitting on women bullshit. So I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." So I go to open the door, and I just open the door to look out into the hallway to see what's going on. And I see the woman, she's like, "Give me my phone, trying to reach up and get her phone from this guy. He's like playing keep away. He's like, doing this. And then when I open the door, they both just look at me like this, right? And it's funny because I never thought about that. Because it just dawned on me just now how it was like when I opened the door, they both just looked at me. It wasn't like he did anything else. He was still holding the phone like this, and he just kind of like looked at me. And then the girl, she was reaching for the phone, and then she turned and looked at me. And then I'm just standing there like, I don't even say a word. I just look. I'm just looking. I'm like, the fuck y'all doing? And then my friend, I don't know, she gets all bold and whatnot. She opens the door wide and goes into the hallway. So now I'm like, oh, now I got to get involved because I can't let nothing happen to her. So now I step into the hallway. I still don't say a word. I'm just standing there with my hands behind my back like this, right? I'm just standing there. And the dude, he gives her phone, right? He gives her phone back, and my friend, she's like, "Girl, you okay?" So they both looking at her phone, right? They both looking at her phone. And then my friend goes, "Chris, let me get your phone so we can call the police." In my mind, I didn't think about it as me snitching or nothing like that, because in my mind, I'm like, this shit ain't got nothing to do with me. So I was like, shit, yeah, you go ahead and get yourself into whatever this is. Go ahead. I just gave her my phone. I didn't think twice about it. This shit ain't really got nothing to do with me. She calls him. Now he gets mad, and he's like, "Oh, so I'm supposed to just let her disrespect my mother?" Like, and I could literally play it. Like, if I was able to show, like, connect my brain to a screen, I could literally play the entire scene. Like, I can remember what everyone was wearing. I remember what his mother was wearing. I remember how many people was in the hallway. I remember what skin tones they wear. They what skin tones they was. I remember so many details of it, and it's so crazy because to me, I'm like, I normally don't be getting involved in other people's shit, and pretty much anyone who's ever met me has always known that I never get into things. that's the other reason why I feel like they came at me too, because besides the fact that I was from Brooklyn, and besides the fact that like I mean, hell, but even if I was smoking weed in the neighborhood, everybody's smoking weed though. Everybody, especially during quarantine, everybody was smoking. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people was outside smoking weed. Some people smoking outside the building. Some people smoking inside the building. Some people smoking in the staircase. Some people everywhere smoking, right? So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it was because I was from Brooklyn, and maybe it's because there's this guy walking around the neighborhood that nobody knows, and he's smoking weed, and don't nobody know this nigga. This is basically the language that they use, right? And then, so the dude, he goes and storms off, cursing and whatnot, and into his mom's apartment, and then his mom, who I've actually spoken to from time to time, you know, she's nice, she was neighborly or whatever. She walks over and she even touches my arm. She's like, "I'm so sorry. I apologize." I'm like, no problem. I mean, I'm like, things happen. I'm like, shit, you know? So I don't know. They go into the apartment. Me and my friend, we go back into my apartment, and I'm like, yo, that was interesting, right? So, because in my mind, I'm like, okay. Then it was like, what, 10 minutes later, all of a sudden, I hear like the sound of like metal things jingling, and I look through the peephole and I see like three cops walking past my door and going towards their door, and I'm like, oh snap, they actually came. So I don't know, it was like I haven't heard anything since then, right? I haven't heard any other commotions or whatever since then. Then it's strange because between the incident in March of 2020, and then the first day I started to get V2K, I think it was like somewhere in October of 2020. Everything in between, I didn't even realize I was probably being synchronized, or they were basically linking me up to the system so that I could get V2K, because I always wondered, what are these sounds that I keep hearing? It was like, I don't know, sometimes I would be like just sitting in my living room watching TV, and then I would hear in the bathroom. I would hear all the way in the bathroom. I would just hear this randomly. Like if I'm sitting I would be sitting in the living room watching TV or whatever. Then all of a sudden I hear, and it would just be random times, but usually it's only if I'm just sitting in the living room or if I'm sitting still somewhere. I didn't realize back then I was being set up. I was being synchronized, right? And then there were these times where like I could be, I'll be, like I said, sitting in the living room or whatever, and then I'll just hear a woman yell out, "Woo!" And I'm like, the fuck is that? And then there's a couple of times where I did it back. Now, the funny thing is, now I've learned that the person that was saying, "Woo!" that's the same exact woman I hear in the V2K. It's the same exact woman. I had no idea they was basically syncing me up to this system the entire time. Between March of 2020 and October of 2020, they were syncing me up to this system with all these different little things that they were doing to, like, I guess study my brain waves. And then the whole marble drop thing. And I think they've been doing that in my new apartment too. So the marble drop thing, it's like, I don't know, it's weird because, I think so. But it is weird because the marble drop thing, it would happen, another thing that's random too. It would just be like, it's almost as if like, they would wait till I sit down, or they knew exactly where I was sitting. Like it was almost as if they knew exactly where I was sitting, and then they would just drop the marble or drop whatever that hard thing was. And then it's like, of course, once I hear something, my attention refocuses to what I heard. And then I think that was basically them linking me up. But I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I'm managing. I just don't understand how. I mean, I guess, you know what? I guess, shit. When you live in a world where all the fallen angels are basically trapped to basically be at, and they can't go anywhere else, or certain energies are basically bound to Earth, and this is the one place where they can rule and control over people, or over humans and everything else. And all these other forces that are still engaging with us through different dimensions, whether it's whether it's Lucifer, or it's Ahriman, or any of these other fallen angels. What was it? Beelzebub. What was it? I can't even remember their names right now. But all these other different entities, these fallen entities or whatever, I guess when certain people actually catch a wind, or they come to knowledge that these type of entities are real, and as spiritual entities, they embody themselves, or basically use certain human beings as vessels, because I think when you are at a certain frequency, certain entities can basically use you. When you operate on certain frequencies, certain entities can use you. So when you are someone that is a low vibration, meaning the majority of the majority of emotions that you experience are everything from like anger and everything down, hatred and all that stuff. You basically have an open door policy for any type of malevolent spirit to enter into your body and to manifest through you. So if you someone that probably became so cold that you don't even care about, like, who gets killed by your hands or whatever, depending on what esoteric people you speak to, they would say, well, that was a spirit manifesting themselves through you. Because when some of these spirits, have left their own bodies, or they necessarily weren't human, and they can't really interact with us in a way that we literally interact with each other, because they're a spirit. So you have to be at a certain wavelength, and then once that spirit sees that you are at that wavelength, it can resonate with you. And then now that you're resonating with this spirit, if the spirit wants to kill people and you are at that frequency that you're low enough that you don't give a fuck about people dying, or who dies or whatever, that spirit is going to use you. Because you are the closest it's going to get to be able to interact with other human beings in this density. Just like remember, Lucifer is a entity of pleasure and other, like, sense, like it's like basically like the loss of inhibitions, or something like that. I was like, Lucifer basically is all about gimme, pleasure. So if it's like, if someone is operating at a frequency where they don't have nothing that blocks their mind from saying, oh, you should not touch this little boy or little girl. If you don't have that blocker on, there is an entity that's roaming this earth, or several entities that's roaming this earth, and they're looking to use you. Because if you don't have that block that says don't touch little boys or don't touch little girls, then there is an entity roaming this earth looking for you, because it knows you don't have a block. So it's going to use you to manifest and to get its, its thrills. So and like people who love to lie, and just to lie. There's entities roaming this earth that if you operate at that frequency, and you someone that don't give a fuck, and you love lying to people because you feel like you could get away with it, or maybe you're a really good liar, there's entities that's going to manifest and live themselves through you. Now, what do you think this technology basically does to every single human being? What do you think this technology is doing? This technology is literally making so that almost every human being can do the same thing that these other entities can do. But what's even worse is that most of these human beings are operating already at low frequencies. So they don't have intentions. They don't have healthy intentions for you. Even when they say that, Chris, all you got to do is become a police officer. Do you think if I would have became a police officer that it would have stopped then? No. Slippery slope. If I would have became a cop, they probably would have had me do even worse things after that. And not only that, they probably would have had me probably violate somebody else's rights or something like that. And I told myself, I was like, well, even if I thought about it, right, I couldn't become a cop, because that means I would have to do my job in its entirety. Meaning I'm not going to give no, like I won't be able to be the same person that I am, because like it's going to be my job to uphold certain things, So it was like, no, I'm not going to become no cop, because there's certain things that I like to do that cops can't do. So I was like, no, I'm not going to become a cop. And then it was like, well, since you won't become a cop, then you're going to have to become a snitch. This is after I went to the hospital and found out that hospitals is probably the worst place to go, because it seems like most of the people that work in the hospitals, they all know. Well, not all of them, but a majority of them know. And it's probably a very small portion of people that don't know. And I learned this from my second visit to a hospital when I went to NYU. I went to NYU and I tried to, check myself in for a psych eval or whatever, because I wanted to make sure that nothing was really going wrong in there, right? And as I started to explain, or I think this nurse or somebody was doing like a questionnaire with me, and as I started to tell her, and it's crazy because as I started to tell her that I was just sitting in my home watching a movie like I normally do, and then all of a sudden I started to hear voices. And it weren't even like people like nearby. It wasn't like I heard it through the walls or anything. It was like literally like in my head. And she started to break down in tears. And I couldn't understand. I was like, wait, why is she crying so hard? And then like this other doctor comes in, he's all nonchalant, like almost as if like it was just another day, another dollar, whatever. He comes in and he had this whole like dry ass, I guess he had this whole dry ass way of, I don't know, trying to speak to me about whatever I'm going through or whatever. And something told me right then and there, I was like, she knows something, but she does not agree with what she knows. When she broke down, because nobody just cries, right? You cry for a reason. Nobody just cries, right? Especially in a hospital setting, and you're the one that's, talking to the patient. Why would the person who's interviewing the patient start to cry themselves? And it wasn't no just tearing. She was crying. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wait, there's something to this, and I need to figure out what exactly is going on. This, and I'm telling you, this is still the first 3 months of me becoming aware of targeting. Like this is still the first 3 months. Actually no, it's the first month. um and then it was like, then there was this one time while I was still at NYU, after they had me like, what was it? It was like they had this other guy come in. He seemed real cool, laid back. I think he might have been like from Africa or something. And I don't know, like I was told to like lay in this bed and wait to be transferred to a room or something like that. And I think his job was mostly just to be there to make sure I don't hurt nobody or I don't hurt myself, which I had no intention of doing either or. And then this other dude, this young looking Spanish dude, he walks over and he's like talking to the guy. He's like, "Oh, what you doing?" Da, da, da. And he's like, "Yo, you can go ahead, man. I got him. You don't have to be." And then for whatever reason, when he said that, even before he said that, his whole energy just felt weird. Like his energy felt weird. And the African guy, the guy that was like sitting next to me, he was like, "No, don't worry, I'm okay." He's like, I'll stay right here." He was like, "No, man, I got you." I was like, why is he trying so hard to get him to leave? And then it started dawning on me. I was like, oh snap. I was like, it's funny because I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't ever really be in certain situations because normally I believe I'm really good at avoiding certain situations. But it was like, yo, it was almost like something from a movie just popped in my head. I was like, yo, I think he's trying to take me out. He's trying to get this dude to leave so he could do something to me. You know, so I was like, damn. I was like, yo, whatever is happening, and this is before I started researching the technology or gang stalking or any of that stuff. It was like, yo, why is he trying to get this dude to leave my bed so bad? Right? Then it was like, I remember when I had to go and get I think I had to go and get, was that the same place? Or was that Brooklyn Hospital? It was one, I think it was, no, it was still NYU. It was like I remember they wanted to take me to get a brain MRI, right? Or the doctor suggested I get a brain MRI. And I remember as I was being transferred, right? This dude, as he was pushing my bed, he was like, he was saying all types of shit like, "Yo, you need to shut the fuck up. You keep saying shit, I'm gonna punch you in the back of your neck, nigga." And then I'm like, I'm laying in the bed like, yo, I have no idea what's going on, but obviously I have pissed off a lot of people. I'm like, yo, I have no idea what's going on, but obviously there's this secret that I did not know about, and I pissed off a lot of people. And a lot of people apparently wants to hurt me. And I'm like, yo, all I did was try to get help for hearing voices, but then now I realize it's a big ass network. It's a big network. But yeah, so like I learned going to hospitals is probably one of the last things you really need to do. I mean, if you go to a hospital, you're only going there just to get a paper trail to say that you actually went to go and get help. Don't let them diagnose you with anything. And if they try to give you any prescription medication, you better research it before you take any of it. You better look into it, look into the side effects to see what it's made out of. You know, do your research before you take anything. But I don't know. And then like I don't know. Now here we are, July. No, I said July. May of 2025, and it's pretty much. It's of course everything has amplified since then. Yo, I remember how many dreams I've had, or lucid dreams I've had where they basically made it seem like people were climbing in through my window to get into my home. Then there was one time where there was this woman. She looked like a masculine, like a masculine. Um, she looked like a lesbian, but she, like, for whatever reason, in my first apartment, it was like it was in the dream. It looked like she had climbed up this ladder to get to my window, and I remember in the dream I jumped up. I was like, the fuck, and then all of a sudden it said when she got up to the window, she took out a gun and was like, bang, and I thought I was about to be dead, but then it was like I woke up and I was like, oh shit. So it was like there's all these different times where they basically simulated me dying, or somebody was coming to try to take my life, or whatever. But a lot of it's basically a lot of trauma based or trauma inducing. But all right, I think I'm done now because I'm pretty sure she's ready to go. um they've been flipping a lot of their scripts. They've been flipping their scripts quite often. One of their major things is basically stating that my supervisor has people watching these videos, and he's like, I don't know, he's like trying to be very professional. He barely even wants to speak to me anymore, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, first and foremost, I ain't never done nothing to this man. Actually, I haven't done nothing to anyone. I haven't done nothing to anyone. Actually, I haven't done anything to anyone, right? So, I don't know. And then they're like, oh, everybody at your job just trying to be professional. Nobody wants to speak to you. And then it's like, in my mind, I'm like, well, at the end of the day, I don't come to jobs looking to create friendships and whatnot. I come here for a paycheck. If we happen to be cool, cool. If we hang out after work, cool. If we don't, cool. I came here to make a paycheck. I'm not trying to build, grow my circle or anything like that. And then also it's like, I've had this job, the job that I had, while being targeted, because remember, they wanted me to become a police officer. They didn't want me to become no delivery person, so I don't know. What's even more interesting is all the people that used to gaslight me when I first started the job. Maybe not all of them. The majority of them don't even work there no more. I thought about that. And you know what? When I think about it even more, every single person who used to really like try to see if they can intimidate me or bully me in some sense in my life, like throughout my past, I don't see them no more. I don't know what happened to them, but I just know I just don't see them no more. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, maybe the universe actually does work out in your favor, and sometimes you don't even realize that that person or that thing is no longer present, and sometimes you're just moving. Sometimes the universe is just pulling you through, and you don't even realize that things and people have been pushed away and moved away to the side. So now I'm thinking, in this aspect, with a network this large and this expansive, and people of different ages and different nationalities and races and orientations, they're all basically, converging in a virtual sense to induce trauma into me, right? I think, in order for what anyway, in order for that's me just becoming nosy. Yeah, I try to make sure I always have a control on that part, because sometimes um you can lose yourself in this whole thing, because you have V2K. And because, you know, you probably have heard people say things pertaining to you from time to time, it's like, you have to try not to find yourself becoming that person where you're looking to see if people are saying something about you, because that's literally how they get you to end up acting on things, and then they can find a way to flip the whole situation on you, and then you don't even realize there was all these other bystanders or you know, people around who saw the whole thing. Apparently they saw the whole thing and you were the one that was acting crazy. So it's like, because you know what they want to do is they want to get you behind bars, because you know it's a totally different environment once you're in jail or prison. It's a totally different rules, totally different environment. I don't know anything about that, and I kind of don't want to experience it, but I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that it won't ever happen, because hey, they set people up all the time. They really do set people up all the time. It's one of the reasons why, you know, I don't like, I considered a gun before, but then I said, well, New York City isn't really a gun carrying friendly place. And if, you know, I'm not going to give the cops any more reason to, you know, and then at the same time, I'm trying to, well, I got to maintain a certain image. I have to maintain my character, because if I switch up too much, then people are gonna, like, it's already bad enough that most people have like kind of stop, you know, communicating with me, or stop really like affiliating themselves with me, because they think I'm crazy because I'm talking about technology that hardly ever makes it onto mainstream media. And then I'm talking about the fact that there is a secret conglomerate or a secret network of people working together who do these trauma-based ritual abuses on people. And then, you know, like, it's basically like throwing stones at someone and hiding your hands, you know, so that when the person looks around, all they see is you just going, but then it's like, I have a feeling it's you, but I can't prove it. I know, it's like, I know it's you, but I can't prove it. Well, I believe there is going to be a way to prove this stuff. But I think ultimately, one of the best things we can start doing is learning how to understand the structures and the components of this technology, and how it builds, how it assembles itself, what breaks it down, and where and from what places that these signals can come from. Um, like I told you, in my apartment, I take the fuse out the wall. There would be no electricity in my apartment, but I would still feel energy coming from, I don't know, it could be the neighboring apartments. It could be, you know, it could be like someone has an air conditioner in the building across the courtyard, and for whatever reason, I could feel the energy transfer. I could feel the connection of that energy from that AC going into my body. Like, I could literally pass my hand through it. Like, all right, so you see that AC right there. So you see that AC right there. It's like, it's almost kind of like I could actually feel. It's kind of almost like I could actually a resonance between that air conditioner over there and then it resonating with my body. But you know, ultimately, I think what I am really feeling is the energy from different devices, including devices that's inside of people's bodies, resonating with the devices that were non-consensually. Actually, everyone has devices that's put into them that was non-consensual, because nobody, and I don't think nobody, had ever consented to having nanotechnology put in their body. That's one. And then two, it's like, it's resonating with the body. And then dang, I forgot what I was gonna say too about. But anyway, all right, I'm gonna leave it at this. Because oh right, I almost forgot. I told you about the Kapton tape. Went through that, and then now I want to show you. Now, oh right, this has been doing a lot more good than I thought it would. And I think I'm actually starting to feel the difference. But EDTA, I've been doing a little bit more research on it, and I can actually tell you that there is definitely a difference in feel when I when I take these. And usually for me, it kind of starts working almost. I'll say after about, I know maybe within about 30 minutes, probably less than that, I would start to feel the difference. I would start to feel like gas is just slowly escaping my body, and then I'll start to feel my joints loosen up. I would start to be able to like grip my hands differently, like my hands feel stronger, and then like I can move a little bit easier. And that's because I've realized that through my research I found that these nanoparticles, they will, before they assemble, they navigate themselves to places in the body where they can be able to harness or harvest the most energy. And that's like your joints, and that's every joint. Down in your groin area because of the heat. Oh, also because of heat. The joints because of what they call mechanical. Is it piezoelectric? I think it's called piezoelectric or mechanical energy. Your energy that's like the heat generated from movement. They'll position themselves in your joints. There is a considerable amount of heat that's down in your groin area. Then you got like what else? Yeah. So they will position them. So they will assemble them. They will go to these sites, and then they will assemble themselves into nodes. They'll assemble themselves into nodes, which basically are like nano-sized antennas or transmitters and and conductors. So once they build themselves up into I think it's from like a nano scale to a micro scale, they then harvest energy from your body, and then they can, they'll basically either project a radio frequency out of your body. They'll project a radio frequency out of your body, and then so they'll project the radio frequency out of your body, and then I think it kind of like converges like up here. Cause like right now, you see the direction of where my fingers is going? That's all day, every day. That never changed. No matter where I move my head, it's always going to be in that same spot. It's always coming at this angle. No matter where I'm at, no matter where I move, it's always here. And I found that in every single person. Even people who don't realize that I'm actually checking them for it. Like sometimes I'll just like, I don't know, I'll be playing around, I just go whoop. And they're like, "What you doing?" I was like, "No, I was just making sure you ain't got nothing attached to you." He's like, "What?" Like people just, they be thinking, they be, "Oh, you crazy?" And I was like, "You don't even realize what I'm trying to check for." But I'm not even going to put you onto that information. And I think that's one of the other things that like I never spoke to anybody at my job really about this stuff. I mean, like maybe 4 or 5 people, but I don't go around talking about it that often because well, to some degree, I actually kind of feel bad for anyone who probably wasn't being targeted. And then if I were to tell them about this, and then all of a sudden they start going through it, I'm gonna feel bad for them though, because they didn't necessarily do anything, it's because what most people who get targeted are probably they were either passed down from somebody, or maybe they are related to someone who is a I don't know, a political or social figure, or maybe someone called the police or somebody, or reported a company for stealing, or whatever the case may be. It could be a number of reasons why people are being targeted, but it was like, I don't necessarily go and try to talk to a lot of people about it, because I think in my mind, I'm like, oh, you got like a family and whatnot. And, I don't want them to end up, putting you through what I'm going through, because so it may be better that you don't know. But if they start telling me about things that's going wrong in their life or in their body, I'm going to at least, oh, I meant to take these off. I'm going to at least, try to see. Yeah, I just realized I had to take these off because yeah, I realized I tried testing aluminum tape on certain spots where I was feeling frequencies coming off of, and I realized the aluminum tape was definitely working against me, because they basically just use the aluminum to basically conduct more energy, and they actually amplify the signals that they were sending to me. So, but damn, I was saying something else, but I can't remember. But anyway, all right, yeah, let me get out of here. Got this nice little long train ride. I said a little long, but all right. Right, the EDTA. I am really suggesting that people should try it. I'm not even sure where she got that one from. Tree, where you ordered that EDTA from?
iHerb.
Oh, iHerb.com?
Yes.
Yeah, iHerb.com. Between them and, well, some people probably ordered from eBay or something, but I believe this is more like food grade EDTA. They got EDTA of different levels and different types of EDTA, so you definitely want to make sure you get like a food grade EDTA. And I shared a video not too long ago of this doctor explaining. Well, you can also just look up online or look up on YouTube, since we're on YouTube. What is EDTA and why you should definitely be careful of how much you consume. But that's a given, because it's kind of like that's a given because if you overconsume anything, it can be bad for you, right? Now, the one that I have, it says you take 4 capsules 1 to 2 times a day. So at this point, I've been taking it for at least, not every day, but I've been taking it at least for the past, I've been taking it for like the past 2 weeks. Oh, there it is. So it's like, you see where my thumb is at? There's a hold on, let me see if I can trace it, because it's penetrating through the chest, and then it feels like it's maybe coming out through the back. But if I track where the pulses are coming or going, I felt one signal coming from down that way. I feel one coming from down that way, and then And then I think the phone, that's another one. And then they just sent a pulse to my heart just now. And then there's one that's coming from up here. So it's like they have multiple nodes all firing, and they meet. It's like they meet and they combine at one spot, and then they all, well, yeah, it's like they basically, it's almost as if like different people, it's almost as if like different people are controlling, like almost like, I don't even know how to really explain it, but it's like if, like, imagine your body is basically land, and a number of different people have basically invested or bought property or bought some land on your body. Like, let's say my entire body is a town, right? And then in a town you got all this land, right? Now I think what it kind of feels like is whenever somebody wants to invest in a person's life, or they basically log into their wireless body area network, and then they find different places within their body that might not have already been purchased. Now it's funny, as I'm saying this, they're pulsing more energy at my heart, almost as if like they're trying to cause a dysrhythmia. But it's like, I think each of the nodes that can be found within our body is probably owned by different people. So it's like, I think they're constantly routing data through us because certain people have certain information or certain data that's being passed through our body. And I think that's one of the other reasons why they say, Chris, you messing with people's livelihoods. And I'm like, I did not consent. I don't care, because I wasn't doing anything to anybody. But I'm gonna just say this: I did not consent. And then if everybody's making all this money off my body, where's my cut? Because to me, I'm thinking like, okay, if they would have had went about this the whole, I think he did the whole "we gonna shoot you in your sleep" thing because I gave the girl my phone so she could call the cops. I think that's what really got him the most upset, was that I actually gave her my phone. I think that's what made him the most upset. So that's why he's pushing this heavy agenda to destroy my character to everybody. Now, all I'm gonna say is this, right? They setting everybody up to take on karma that doesn't even belong to them. And everyone is going to eat every atom of that energy. Some people might actually live a long life. Some people may actually live to grow old and gray. But trust and believe, your soul is still in danger. Your soul is still in danger. So that's why I start to just mentally prepare myself to not even really care that much about dying, because you know what? There's so many people dying all over the world. Not just in New York, not just in America. There's people dying almost like every hour somewhere in the world. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to put that much pressure on myself no more, because it's like, why am I going to put myself through so much stress of trying to not, not die or whatever, when it's like, what makes me any more different from the person, from the 3-year-old that got hit with a stray bullet, or a town somewhere in I don't know, Palestine. I just got bombed just got bombed, and like 30 people died or something like that. It's like, why do we put so much more emphasis on, oh, I gotta make sure I live, da, da, da. It's like, you're not that much more important than that person. That person has just as much right to live and die as you. So I'm telling myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about death. When it comes, it comes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on what I can control right now. And right now, I have been made aware that there are technologies that are working within our bodies without any of our consent. Because, I mean, honestly, the technology doesn't seem all that bad if you're not being targeted by it. If you aren't being attacked with the technology, it doesn't seem all that bad, because when you think about it, it's kind of like, well, if you're not being attacked by it, then you probably have all these different things opened up to you, and you can probably see this and do that and earn money this way and whatnot. But it's like, it's so eerily uncomfortable realizing how much of a person is now being exposed to people they don't even know. And then not only that, these people you don't know can literally control the rhythm of your heartbeat. These people can control your blood pressure. These people can control your sugar levels. These people can control your mood. These people can control just about so many different things about your life. And you don't even know that this technology is in you. That's what motivates me. I'm literally at the point where I kind of almost am putting everything to the side just to focus on this. Why? Because I realize most people are too afraid to focus on it. And then those who are focusing on it, they're making ways. They're making ways to navigate through all the stimulation, through all the traps. They're watching and they're learning. They're learning all the different ways that people are basically in training, or how people are doing all this stuff. So it's like, I got to do something. I have to. It's how I was raised too. Like, it's like, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. It's just that other people who are doing wrong don't want to be found out that they're doing wrong. I mean, when you think about it, like, yo, do you know how many TIs I've heard stories from where they mentioned how they felt like they were being raped? And then it's bad enough too, it's even worse when there's TIs who are parents. They even have videos of their children explaining something that they felt while they were like sleeping in their bed or whatever. And when they would wake up, nobody's there, but they feel someone touching them. So I'm supposed to just be aware of this and then not say nothing. Lord, I'm ready. So I'm like, nah, I'm not going to be aware of something like this. And then knowing that it's affecting not just me, but it's affecting other people I know. I can't turn a blind eye to this. This is no different from if someone happened to see a grown person walk into a playground, and then all of a sudden they just grab a child. What, the adult that's sitting on a bench isn't going to do anything or think that's weird? They're not going to say nothing, right? They don't want to be known as a snitch, so they're not going to do nothing. They're just going to let the child get taken, right? All right. I think I'm done now. Take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.